7 World Cup mysteries that sound fake, but are true. A World Cup trophy stolen twice. A soccer match linked to a war. A dog that became a national hero. And a jersey created because of a national tragedy. These stories sound completely fake, but every single one is true. The FIFA World Cup is the most watched sporting event on Earth. Billions watch it. Millions dream about it. But hidden behind the goals, trophies, and celebrations are stories stranger than fiction. These are 7 World Cup mysteries that sound fake, but are completely true. Let's begin. Mystery number 7. The trophy that vanished. Before today's World Cup trophy, there was another one. The Jules Rimet Trophy. It was one of the most valuable objects in sports. In 1966, England was preparing to host the World Cup. The trophy was proudly displayed to the public. Then something impossible happened. It disappeared. The World Cup trophy had been stolen. The story immediately became national news. Newspapers covered it every day. Police launched a massive investigation, but no one could find it. Days passed. The mystery only grew bigger. Then, an unexpected hero appeared. A dog named Pickles. While out on a walk with his owner, Pickles noticed a strange package hidden beneath a bush. Wrapped in newspaper was the missing World Cup trophy. Against all odds, a dog had solved the mystery. The world celebrated. The trophy was recovered. The World Cup was saved. Or so everyone thought. Years later, the Jules Rimet Trophy was stolen again, this time from Brazil, and unlike the first theft, it was never recovered. To this day, nobody knows exactly what happened to it. Some believe it was melted down, others think it still exists somewhere in secret. Whatever the truth may be, the original World Cup trophy vanished forever. Most people think that's the strangest World Cup mystery. They're wrong, because the next story changed an entire country's identity forever. Mystery number 6. Why Brazil wears yellow. Today, Brazil's yellow jersey is one of the most recognizable symbols in sports. Children wear it, fans worship it, opponents fear it. But Brazil wasn't always yellow. For decades, Brazil played in white. Then came the World Cup of 1950. Brazil was hosting the tournament. The entire country expected one thing: victory. Nearly 200,000 fans packed the Maracanã Stadium. The trophy seemed destined to stay in Brazil. All that remained was one final match against Uruguay. Most people had already begun celebrating. Newspapers predicted victory. Fans prepared for a national party. Then disaster struck. Uruguay scored. And then they scored again. The final whistle blew. Uruguay had defeated Brazil 2-1. The stadium fell silent. An entire nation was heartbroken. The defeat became known as the Maracanazo, one of the greatest shocks in sports history. People searched for answers. They searched for someone to blame, and strangely, many blamed the jersey. The famous white shirt suddenly became a symbol of failure. So Brazil made an extraordinary decision. They launched a nationwide competition to design a completely new national jersey. The winning design used the colors of the Brazilian flag: yellow, green, blue, and white. A new identity was born. A new era began, and football history changed forever. But while Brazil found a new identity, another football giant spent decades chasing a dream it could never reach. Mystery number 5. The Curse of the Netherlands. The Netherlands created some of the greatest soccer teams the world has ever seen. They revolutionized tactics, changed how the game was played, and inspired generations of players. The world called their style total football. At the center of it stood Johan Cruyff, a player many consider one of the greatest in history. In 1974, the Dutch arrived at the World Cup. They dazzled everyone, match after match, opponent after opponent. The Netherlands looked unstoppable. The final awaited. The trophy was within reach. Then came West Germany, and the dream ended. The Netherlands lost. Most nations would never recover from such heartbreak. But 4 years later, they returned. Another World Cup, another final, another opportunity. And once again, they lost. 2 finals, 2 heartbreaks. Decades passed. Generations changed. Then, in 2010, The Dutch returned to the biggest stage once more. One more final, one more chance to finally lift the trophy, one more chance to end the curse. And once again, heartbreak. 3 World Cup finals, 3 defeats. That's why the Netherlands have 0 stars above their badge. 3 generations came within touching distance of immortality. None crossed the finish line, and that's why many people call them the greatest team never to win the World Cup. But the next mystery wasn't about trophies. It wasn't about glory. It was about a soccer match that became linked to a real war. Mystery number 4. The football war. Can a soccer match start a war? It sounds impossible, but in 1969, 2 neighboring countries found themselves at the center of one of the strangest stories in sports history: Honduras and El Salvador. The 2 nations already had serious political, economic, and social tensions. The relationship between them had been deteriorating for years. Then came World Cup qualification. Suddenly, soccer became the stage for something much bigger. The first match took place in Honduras. The home team won. The second match was played in El Salvador. This time, El Salvador won. The rivalry exploded. Newspapers fueled the anger. Supporters on both sides became increasingly hostile. The tension continued to rise. Then came the deciding match. The stakes couldn't have been higher. El Salvador won. But the story didn't end there. Just weeks later, war broke out between the 2 nations. The conflict became known around the world as the Football War. But here's the part most people don't know. Soccer didn't actually cause the war. The real causes were political disputes, economic pressures, and long-standing social tensions. Soccer simply became the spark. A World Cup qualifier became forever linked to a real military conflict. One of the strangest chapters in soccer history. But the next mystery wasn't about nations. It was about one man and one moment. Mystery number 3. The own goal that changed everything. In 1994, Colombia arrived at the World Cup as one of the most exciting teams on earth. Many believed they could challenge for the trophy. At the heart of the team stood defender Andrés Escobar. Respected, trusted, admired. Everything seemed possible. Then came a crucial match against the United States. The pressure was enormous. Midway through the game, disaster struck. A cross entered the penalty area. Escobar attempted to intercept it. Instead, the ball deflected into his own net. An own goal. One moment, one mistake. Colombia lost the match. Soon after, their World Cup campaign was over. Most players would have hidden from the spotlight. Escobar did the opposite. He accepted responsibility, he spoke calmly, and he reminded everyone that soccer is only a game. His words should have ended the story. Instead, his story became one of the most heartbreaking in sports history. Today, Andrés Escobar is remembered not for a mistake, but for his character, his dignity, and the reminder that behind every athlete is a human being. Some mysteries are tragic, others seem impossible, and the next one may never be matched. Mystery number 2. Brazil's impossible record. Germany missed World Cups. Italy missed World Cups. England missed World Cups. Argentina missed World Cups. Every football giant has stumbled, except one: Brazil. Since the very first World Cup in 1930, Brazil has qualified for every single tournament ever held. Not most tournaments, not almost every tournament, every single one, through every era, through every generation. From Pelé to Ronaldo to Neymar, players came and went. The streak survived them all, and that's not the only reason Brazil stands alone. They've won more World Cups than any other nation. 5 titles, 5 stars, 5 moments of immortality. For nearly a century, Brazil has remained a constant presence on soccer's biggest stage. Many records are eventually broken. This one might not be. But the final mystery isn't about a record. It's about a goal that millions watched, a goal that should never have counted, and a moment that still divides the soccer world today. Mystery number 1. The Hand of God. 1986. Argentina versus England. the World Cup quarter-final. The match already carried enormous tension. Then came the moment that changed soccer history forever. A high ball floated into the penalty area. England's goalkeeper rushed forward. At the same time, a smaller player jumped to meet it. The ball crossed the line. Goal. The referee pointed toward the center circle. Argentina celebrated. England protested. Something didn't look right. Then the replays appeared. The ball had been touched by a hand, yet the goal stood. The player responsible was Diego Maradona, one of the greatest talents the game has ever seen. After the match, Maradona described the goal in a way the world would never forget. A little with the head of Maradona, and a little with the hand of God. The phrase became legendary. To some people, it was genius. To others, it was cheating. Nearly 40 years later, people are still arguing about it. And perhaps that's what makes it the greatest World Cup mystery of all. Not because nobody knows what happened, but because nobody can agree on what it meant. For 90 minutes, it's just a game. Yet somehow, it creates heroes, villains, legends, and stories that outlive generations. Some stories end with glory, others end with heartbreak. But every 4 years, the world gathers to write another chapter, because nobody remembers every score, nobody remembers every match, but everyone remembers the stories. A stolen trophy, a nation reborn, 3 generations of heartbreak, a match linked to war, an impossible record, and a goal that changed soccer forever. The World Cup isn't just a tournament, it's the world's greatest collection of stories. And somewhere in the next World Cup, a story is happening right now that people will still be talking about 100 years from now. World Cup Mysteries Episode I.
But that's not the strangest story hidden in football history. Another mystery is waiting inside the vault. See you in the next story.